BONELAB, the best VR game so far. More than just a VR shooter is what BONELAB offers. The purpose of a changing game character and giving them entirely varied proportions to invoke the sensation of a wild body. For example, the quick-moving figure can instantly transform into a large warrior or a little cat for squeezing through tight, hidden spaces. Additionally, there is an experimental section featuring physics games, mods, and additional modes, such as a gun-filled horn mode or a bowling alley. Can Stress Level Zero's chaotic blend persuade as the indirect successor to Boneworks, or has it gone too far this time? Welcome to MetaHub. Today we are showing you everything about the best ever VR game, so make sure to watch the video till the end. Here we begin. Let's start with a boom. This new VR game made $1 million USD in its first hour on the Quest, setting a record for the fastest selling game on the platform. This week, Meta disclosed at its annual Connect developer conference that Stress Level Zero's Quest 2 game BONELAB became the fastest selling app in Quest history when it earned its first $1 million in sales less than an hour after going live. In addition, the popular PC VR action-adventure game Boneworks by Stress Level Zero serves as the foundation for the last late-month release by BONELAB. BONELAB was uniquely positioned to introduce some solo headset usage to the meme engine because it was a sandbox game created from the bottom up for Quest. You know, the gruesome and absurd violence that motivates actions like Deadpool swinging around with Spider-Man prowess and 360 no-scoping an innocent NPC into nothingness. On Quest, BONELAB has amassed more than 8,000 reviews, earning an overall user rating of 4.5 out of 5 stars. Additionally, BONELAB was released on PC VR devices, receiving a mostly positive user rating on Steam from more than 6,000 gamers. Why to play BONELAB? You play the role of an outcast who escapes fate after receiving a death sentence and find a way to a secret research facility beneath. Of course, there will be many difficult experiments and findings, but the vacuum makes a call for the path to truth, so what makes the game worth it? Realistic physics systems have been completely enhanced and polished in Boneworks. Engage the world consistently and confidently. Combat in visceral VR. Engage opponent confrontations with a vast arsenal of ranged, melee, and unique physics weapons at your disposal. Be anybody you want. By importing a custom avatar, you can play the game with any appearance and the corresponding physical stats. As the developers mentioned a layered narrative, after finding a lab beneath MythOS City, you'll get access to a number of game environments, including arenas, obstacle courses, tactical trials, sandboxes, experimental modes, and user-generated levels. You can advance through the enigmatic plot by gathering objects, avatars, and hints from various places. Let's get to its review now. BONELAB provides a playground brimming with physics environments, experiments, mods, and challenges for solitary players. Unfortunately, the innovative new mechanic of changeable bodies is only utilized near the end of the campaign. The overly simple combat, lack of comfort options, and occasionally perplexing staging also let you down. Balancing shortcomings. But even without considering the skills, the puzzle design has flaws. First, even when you're thinking, the balance sways. For instance, a ball falling from the ceiling must strike a hydraulic bolt with exact timing for the bolt to launch the ball onto a button. Even with the boss battles, if you can call them that, fall short of expectations. It's frustrating to chase an eye-catching flashing orb in a cramped tower. Ascending when under persistent attack results in several crashes and tiresome new efforts because the body change here takes on a life of its own. But there are also some pretty intriguing environmental puzzles where you have to pay close attention to your surroundings in order to, among other things, hang a crane properly. In the end, such little adjustments undoubtedly would have resulted in puzzles that were far more engaging for players. It has a wild escape mode for VR shooters. You play the part of an outcast who narrowly escapes execution in the story. After making your way out of medieval dungeons, you will find yourself in a bizarre lab full of tests and physics equipment. There are also horn modes and game mods available at a terminal. So this hub, which has a number of additional modes, is relevant to the plot, but unfortunately Stress Level Zero confusedly incorporated it into the narrative. In general, it isn't easy to understand all the meta levels of the story. Obviously, the simulation of a fantastic medieval world has certain problems. However, as with its predecessor, you have a variety of options for blocking attacks. Offers changing body functions. This issue is somewhat resolved by the character's inventive new body change. Unfortunately, this element doesn't become available until the end of a roughly 6-hour campaign, but it offers the game's most enjoyable moments. A welcome change has been made to the game despite the fact that the characters have changed. It is admirable that arm movements are implemented generally rather than precisely. Small excursions across speeding treadmills or into concealed ventilation ducts repeatedly lead to pleasant small aha moments. Dubstep and synth-pop beats that are properly fast-paced frequently accompany the excursions. Physics gimmicks for Quest 2 and PC VR. The physics engine is crucial even during manual reloading. Railings and other obstacles can slow down the procedure or make the twitch hand foolishly. However, far less attention is needed than in the survival shooter Into the Radius. Even when reloading, an empty magazine in BONELAB automatically pops out of the weapon. Usually, the weak enemy AI pushes you just to abandon your weapons and engage in a melee fight. Instead, surprisingly unobservant patrols with assault guns stroll around the rooms. The Morning Star, the Nail Club, and other weapons are also successful. The weight of large objects is clearly felt, similar to the Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. Only two hands in the proper angle can generate adequate force with an axe. Moving hefty conference tables and other items also feels appropriate. My character becomes frequently entangled in the environment as a result of the heavy physics engine. Borderline experience for stomach. The group needs to have focused more on the game's other features as well, but again, the lack of comfort is the main problem. You might be tossed through the air many times each minute, exit a minecart, or fly across a go-kart track while using an incredibly unstable camera. Players new to VR and those who are prone to motion sickness should think twice before purchasing. It's puzzling why Stress Level 0 provides so few comfort options, especially with such strenuous activities. However, there are a few possibilities such as jerky turning at various angles or sprinting in a path that is parallel to the head or hand. The team, however, manages without standard aid like a black border around the edge of the screen or teleportation. Additionally, the seeded game is more difficult than other games. This lacks professionalism and is not currently for virtual reality. The graphic design of virtual dreamscapes has received more love. Unfortunately, the level of detail is insufficient to match with recent PSVR 2 games like Horizon Call of the Mountain or even visual highlights like Half-Life Alyx. However, the eclectic art design's mingling of several elements create the impression of a varied journey. The game's updated Marrow physics and interaction engine are distinguishing features. The verdict. In conclusion, BONELAB will feel you letting down. Yes, the body switching and physics engine have their cool moments, but in the story mode, the latter doesn't really start to matter until much too late. Additionally, a lot of things seem unfinished, including the campaign's hasty organization, the too easy fighting, and the glaring absence of comfort options. Remarkably, mods are supported in the Quest 2 as well. BONELAB should eventually have more gameplay variety because of user creation. So that is all about BONELAB, one of the best VR games. What do you think about this VR game? Let us know your views in the comments below, and make sure to subscribe for more. Take care and have a good day.